Before the world marveled at the sweeping curves of Arabic calligraphy, before the mosques were adorned with verses written in flowing ink, there was a beginning, a single hand, a single vision that set into motion a tradition of beauty, discipline, and divine expression. Today, we journey back over 1,000 years to uncover the story of the first Arabic calligrapher, the pioneer who transformed written language into sacred art. Arabic writing began humbly, born from practical needs in the ancient deserts of Arabia. Long before it became an art form, the script served merchants, poets, and tribes who needed a way to record lineage, agreements, and poetry. It evolved from the Nabatean script, a descendant of Aramaic, with angular, minimal shapes that suited the tools and surfaces of the time: rock, bone, parchment. But everything changed in the 7th century when Islam emerged and the Arabic language took on a sacred role. The Quran, believed to be the direct word of God, was revealed in Arabic. Suddenly, this script was no longer just functional, it was divine. Every letter, every stroke carried spiritual weight. Writing became more than communication, it became worship. As the Islamic Empire expanded across continents, Arabic script spread with it, adapting to different cultures and evolving in style. Yet in its essence, it was still deeply tied to faith, and it had to be preserved with utmost care. The need to honor the Quran through beautiful, accurate transcription became the driving force behind the development of Arabic calligraphy. Scribes and scholars were no longer just writers. They were guardians of sacred form, shaping each word with precision and reverence. Among the early figures in the world of Arabic calligraphy, one name stands out with unmatched influence: Ibn Muqla. Born in 885 CE in the city of Baghdad during the height of the Abbasid Caliphate, he was not just a calligrapher, he was a visionary. Trained in literature, philosophy, and geometry, Ibn Muqla brought a rare intellect to the world of script. Arabic writing at the time lacked consistency. Different scribes wrote the same letters in varying shapes and proportions. Ibn Muqla saw this chaos and sought order. He introduced a system rooted in proportion and geometry, where every letter was measured based on the width of a single dot, the dot formed by the tip of a reed pen known as the kalam. Through this method, he created a visual balance, allowing letters to relate to one another mathematically and aesthetically. This system, known as al-Khat al-Mansub, became the bedrock of classical Arabic calligraphy. Ibn Muqla refined and formalized major script styles, especially Naskh and Thuluth, which remain central to Islamic calligraphy to this day. His work elevated calligraphy from handwriting to structured art, setting rules that gave the Arabic script its unique grace, fluidity, and timeless visual harmony. Ibn Muqla's approach to calligraphy was revolutionary not just in its structure, but in its underlying philosophy. He believed that beauty in writing could be defined, measured, and reproduced with precision. Drawing from the principles of geometry and proportion, he treated each letter as a carefully balanced form, governed by rules that connected art with mathematics. This vision was deeply spiritual. He saw calligraphy not merely as a visual craft, but as a reflection of divine order. His scripts were not improvised, they were constructed, each stroke deliberate, each curve guided by logic. But despite his brilliance, Ibn Muqla's life was marked by dramatic political upheaval. He served 3 times as vizier in the Abbasid court, navigating a treacherous landscape of rivalries and shifting allegiances. His enemies eventually turned on him, accusing him of conspiracy. In a tragic twist, he was imprisoned, tortured, and ultimately had his writing hand severed. Yet even in darkness, he remained committed to his art. According to some accounts, he learned to write again with his left hand, refusing to abandon the very craft that had defined his life. His personal suffering only deepened the myth surrounding him, turning him into a symbol of sacrifice, dedication, and resilience. The influence of Ibn Muqla did not end with his lifetime. In fact, it only grew stronger in the centuries that followed. His system of proportion script became the foundation upon which generations of calligraphers would build. His vision transformed calligraphy into a discipline that required not just creativity, but deep study, patience, and mastery of form. The 6 classical scripts, Naskh, Thuluth, Muhakkak, Rayhani, Tawqi, and Rika, either originated from or were heavily refined by the principles he established. These styles became essential tools for religious, legal, and literary works across the Islamic world. As Islamic civilization expanded into Persia, North Africa, the Ottoman Empire, and the Indian subcontinent, the calligraphic tradition evolved with regional flavors, but remained anchored in the systematized structure introduced by Ibn Muqla. Master calligraphers in later centuries treated his guidelines as sacred, carefully teaching them through master-apprentice lineages that preserved both the technique and the spirit of the art. The concept of proportion, the central dot, and the balance of letters became universal across scripts. Even in architectural ornamentation, mosques, palaces, and madrasas, his influence could be seen in the elegantly inscribed verses that adorned walls, domes, and minarets. Seamlessly blending text with the geometry of space and design, Arabic calligraphy is more than just beautiful writing. It's the fingerprint of a culture, a spiritual art, and a living language. And it all began with a man who dared to define beauty with mathematics, who turned letters into legacy. Ibn Muqla, the first Arabic calligrapher, showed us that ink can be eternal.